Grow up, Eddie. What's the matter with you? Coventry and Warwickshire-based soul and jazz band The Stone Foundation are to release their new album tomorrow. I just played a track off it. I've got a copy here. Hot on the heels of playing to a crowd of about 4,000 at a Japanese rock festival. And Neil Jones from the band joins us live in the studio this morning. He's going to play live for us in a little while. But first, let's have a chat. Morning, Neil.
Morning, Shane. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Loving your stuff, loving the vibe.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How do you describe it? Kind of soul, funk?
Soul, funk, maybe with a bit of jazz thrown in, that kind of thing.
Give me a potted history of Stone Foundation for the uninitiated.
Myself and Neil Sheasby got together probably about 10 or 11 years ago when we just started piecing musicians together, really. And it's only really been sort of the last it's probably 2012, we supported the Specials on an arena tour, and we played the Rico just up the road, which was incredible.
So what was that?
That was just amazing. And that was kind of the sort of point where the band really sort of went through the gears and we started attracting more crowds and more attention, really.
I wonder whether that can be a double-edged sword, and I think if there's a mismatch with a band as a support band, and I've been to see bands and you kind of think, who decided to put these guys on as a support, because there's no kind of mesh at all really with the whole thing. But I can see your music working well. So did you manage to drag people in from the bar?
Yeah, no, it was great. We actually got approached by the drummer John Bradbury. He funnily enough, put us on YouTube. He put in on YouTube something about new soul bands or something.
Yeah.
And we came up near the top. And we just happened to be playing in a pub down the road from him in London. So he turned up and watched us. And it kind of went round the band. Everyone was going, "That's John Bradbury." And like, "What's he doing here?" And we sort of went over, had a word with him. And it turned out he'd come to see us. 2 weeks later, he offered us like a 15-date UK tour. So we ended up playing loads of mad arenas. We played the Ali Pali in London.
Fantastic. I remember that gig for the Specials.
Yeah. It was crazy. And ever since then, like, the band's kind of gone from strength to strength, really.
Big in Japan?
Yeah, that came about through a guy who works for Visit Britain, who, funnily enough, was a fan of the band. And he wanted to take us out to Japan and sort of showcase British music, or a band that played British music. So that was mad as well. We've had some really mad little breaks over the last few years. We went out, played a gig. It was 18 months ago that we played to 150 people in the Red Shoes bar in Tokyo. And 18 months later, we're playing at Fuji Rock Festival to 4,000 people. It's just
did they get it? Because I mean, I know they're like in Japan. They're quite eclectic in their taste of music, aren't they?
Yeah, they absolutely love it. They're so different in the way they approach music. It's almost like they want to sort of let go and just have a good time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And that's a lot to do with our performances. We try and make people happy and sort of...
So can you capitalise on that? I just wonder now, because having visited, I was just mentioning this morning, I was lucky enough to visit Japan, and it's like nowhere else you'll visit, is it really? It's unique and it's special, and it is special only to Japan, really. But I wonder, is that a market you can now capitalise on?
Well, yeah, definitely. Well, we've got the album that comes out tomorrow in the UK, A Life Unlimited, that's out in Japan at the moment on a label called P-Vine.
Right.
So they've actually signed us to a label in Japan. That's doing really well, and it looks like we'll probably be going back next year and doing next year and doing a bit more work out there.
All thanks to Visit Britain.
It's mad, isn't it?
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just really the weirdest things. How did you get a big break off Visit Britain? Yeah, we're a bit of a monument out in Japan now.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the new album. I've got the promo copy here, but unmistakable, the design of the front cover and it's the Specials tie-up again, isn't it? Yeah,
Mr. Horace Panther designed that.
On the front cover for you. How did that come about?
Well, we got on really well with all the guys, really nice blokes, and Horace basically he did the last album for us, To Find the Spirit,
right?
And we just thought we should ask him again. It was so good.
He's cheap. He's got his own
near
brushes.
to us. Yeah, he's down. I think he's in Los Angeles at the moment.
Is he
gallivanting off there?
I know he's all right.
Yeah, it just seemed to make sense. So we went out, saw Horace, and he said yes, he'd do it again. So.
What about? Did you record it locally? Did you?
Our studio's in Atherstone.
You got your own studio.
Yeah.
So this is real.
Yeah, this is real.
Like a sort of work of, like, all your own work kind of thing.
Yeah, all our own work. We've got a guy called Andy Codlin who does all our sort of engineer production. And the 8 of us just hole up in a studio and record.
So when you write, you write in the studio because you haven't got the time and money pressures there?
Most of the songs are written by myself and Neil Sheesby.
Okay.
We like write a lot of the songs, bring them into the studio. Occasionally, we'll work on stuff from scratch in the studio, and just take it from there. Really,
because I always wonder whether, because very often people worry about writing in the studio because of the time pressure and the money pressure.
we
more
don't
than-
get that. No.
But if you've got your own,
No.
got your own gear.
Well, the great thing about this record is usually we can be a little bit lazy and take our time and ponder over things. But the label in Japan basically said, if you can get this album done by, I think it was January time, we'll put your album out. And then the people at Fuji Rock said, if you get an album out in Japan, we'll put you on at Fuji Rock. So there was a massive incentive
Just goes
for
in
us
a
to get it
cycle for
done.
you. And what about producing it? Because I always wonder whether you kind of be hamstrung in a way by produce. Do you produce it? You produce it yourself? Did the band produced
yeah.
it? Because you don't, very often. And I don't think people give enough credit or probably understand the role of a producer very often when you're making a record or you're producing a CD or a song. How you can actually the whole interpretation can change a whole thing. Kind of. Do you ever kind of think actually maybe on the third album maybe you'd like to get a producer in and
we've definitely spoke about it in the past. I mean, Dr. Robert, who's on that track that you just played, "A Love Uprising," we get on really well with him, and we've kind of toyed with the idea of maybe asking Rob, or I'd love someone like Nick Lowe to produce us. That'd be great.
He's got a huge, and again, he's one of the guys who will. I mean, he will change a song without changing your sound, which is the great way to do it. You have got a very definitive sound. You've got it's almost, I would say, unmistakable. It's your sound as well. How hard have you worked on that? Is that something you deliberately?
It's massive. The first ever record we brought out has got more of a sort of Americana feel to it. We really like finding our feet and just sort of throwing ideas about over the first couple of albums. And it's only really been, I think, To Find the Spirit, the last record, and this new one, Life Unlimited, where we've really kind of hit upon what you'd call like the Stone Foundation sound.
What are you, 5, 6 piece, are you? 6? 8 piece?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just looking at not everybody's been credited, obviously, on the back of these.
No, I'm not on the promo. On the actual album. It's
so you're not Precious. I can't exactly call him Precious, can you, really? So an 8 piece, but it does sound, it's quite a big sound, isn't it?
It's a big sound. That's what we really wanted to go for. The brass kind of thing's really important to us.
Yeah. It is, and again, it's very defining as well. Although, having said that, this is the stripped down, warts and all, acoustic version from Neil Jackson. What are you going to do for us?
I'm going to play "Learning the Hard Way." So this is about the 7th track on the album, and I think it'll be the 2nd single as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Jones.
She's making plans with another man, using emotion to cloud your head every way she can. I can be sure it'll leave you sad, playing a part not meant for you, trying to change the past. Now I've seen it all before. If you turn and go, turn and walk right out that door. You've been learning the hard way lately. You've been learning the hard way, brother. Yeah. You've been learning the hard way lately. You've been learning the hard way, brother. Don't you know it's true? You think you found something new to you, telling the same old joke once more. Nothing we can do. Money can give you everything. It'll tie you down in a deep dark hole, bury your soul. Now I've been through this before. If you turn your back, tell me that you know you're sure. You've been learning the hard way lately. You've been learning the hard way, brother. Yes, you have. Now I've been through this before. Yes, I have. If you turn your back, tell me that you know you're sure. You've been learning the hard way lately. You've been learning the hard way, brother. You've been learning the hard way lately. Yeah, yeah. You've been learning the hard way, brother. Come on now. Learning the hard way. 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 Learning. You're gonna be learning the hard way. We're learning every day. Learning the hard way. Learning the hard way.
I wanted to join in.
A ripple from outside.
That was Salik, my producer. He very often is subject to a ripple from time to time. I wanted to join in. I wanted to be part of that.
Well, I should have actually got you joining.
You write on guitar, don't you?
Yeah,
I can tell with all those. There's a lot of minor sevenths going on there, and that kind of giving that sort of cool vibe, sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
I love it. I just think it's got such a great sense, like a really soulful. I wondered whether it'd work, listening to what you do, with the band and the brass and all the rest of it. And you kind of think, I wonder what that would sound like stripped down. But it quite clearly.
A lot of it's written this way. A lot of the stuff I write is written this way. A lot of the stuff Neil Sheasby writes, he kind of usually works through things with Phil and Ian. Because he's a bass player.
Right.
But so usually my songs work out like that. If I tried to play like Love Uprising, what she's wrote, it'd probably be a little bit more tricky.
If you can do it on your own, Neil, I always think it keeps the rest of the band on the toes anyway, doesn't it, really? That's the thing. So what next for you guys then? Is this full time? Is this your work now? Or
we basically a lot of the guys are either self-employed or in employment, so we have to kind of really sort of balance things. The next step for us now is we have an album launch night tonight in Birmingham at the Brewdog Bar in Birmingham. So we'll be sort of launching the album there, just having a bit of acoustic music, bit of a playback of the record.
Tell me why you're not launching it in. I'm not having a go, but tell me why you're not launching it in Coventry. And I know there's a big music scene in Birmingham.
Yeah, no, totally. We really like playing over here, and like the Godiva last year was fantastic. It'd be great. Now we've had a year off if we can play next year. But it's basically came about because of the Brewdog affiliation out in Tokyo. They've kind of sponsored us a little bit out there. They've actually got a bar in Tokyo, so it's kind of linked up, so we thought we'd do it at that.
Yeah. It's commercial pressures, isn't it? I think very often. No, do you know what I mean? Yeah. You make relationships. And you want to,
totally. Like the first few times we went to Japan, we were flown out by Virgin, we got free flights, and if that hadn't happened, we'd have struggled, because money is really difficult for us at the moment. And that's what's so great about this album, is that it looks like it's going to chart, and that's purely and simply off sort of people power, really. We've not really had much media attention in like sort of the magazines and whatnot, but people have really got behind it on social media. So hopefully a lot of the listeners tomorrow can go to HMV and buy a copy, because it helps us be able to make more records.
Listen, it's great to meet you. Keep up the good work, because there's some fabulous music coming out of the band as well, and good luck with wherever you end up. It sounds like it could be worldwide, couldn't it, Neil?
Hope so.
At least you're still young, that's the main thing. Neil Jones, founding member of fabulous band, the Stone Foundation. Their album out tomorrow. It's called A Life Unlimited. And as I say, big launch party tonight, and then you'll be able to get hold of that tomorrow if you fancy.